water view magical.
Yeah, wow, gorgeous.
Mm.
Thanks, Robin, for bringing me to this magical place
Yeah.
of, yeah, just pure awe, pure beauty. This island is so magical. So,
Mhm. Yeah, Natural Biohacker Podcast live from Koh Phangan, Crystal Island. We made a little jungle hike now, like 10 minutes, so we're a little bit sweaty as well because it's,
and we're
lunchtime.
blessed by the sun as
We
well.
are blessed by the sun, for sure. And I have my good and dear friend Steffen here. And we know each other for a long time. I think like 4 or 5 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of collaboration, a lot of connection, but we met here in person for the first time a few days ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
How is it for you?
It's beautiful, man. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person and, yeah, to experience you in your full glory. And at this wonderful place, also, like as I said, I was in love with this place, like from day one. Like, I really feel the energy is super special here. And I already experienced a lot of transformation, expansion, love, and growth. So just a testament of how beautiful and magical this place is, and I cannot
Yeah,
imagine how it's being to live here. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here with you,
yeah,
connect. It's a wonderful place, and have a beautiful conversation about
yeah.
the magic of vibration and frequency and
Ooh.
all the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, that's not the first place you've been on the world. So you're also like a traveler. You experience a lot of magical places, magical bubbles like
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
So what brought you to this lifestyle, maybe for the first time?
Yeah, what brought me to this lifestyle was finally following my heart, acting on my passion, which is in the widest sense has to do with sound and music and frequency. When I started, it was basically creating medicine music and shamanic down tempo music. And I think a big part in this whole journey was my first cacao ceremony.
Mm.
That really changed everything. Like, I went through a very challenging time back in 2016. I kind of had what people would call the dark night of the soul, like where you get this major initiation where you feel like completely lost. And in my case, even like depressed and suicidal. I was working as a social worker, mm, but I felt the desire to make music, and I was part of a community, and I was kind of having a lot of responsibility and all that stuff, and it didn't go so as planned, and I ended up being very depressed and almost suicidal, and then I felt I need to change something.
Mm.
And at the same time, I always had the deep desire to make music. I knew that since, yeah, since I was 19 years old, I was really diving deep into music production. And even during my days at university, I was supposed to study social work, but what I actually secretly studied was music production with Ableton.
Mm.
Because back in the days, there was no YouTube tutorials and no books and stuff, so I had to teach myself everything, and it was such an exciting journey. And so, yeah, I always knew I wanted to make music, and my parents said, no, that's not really a career to pursue because that's just for dreamers, and you cannot make money with that, and you should be a social worker. So I
Mm.
listened to them and became a social worker for 8 years, which was okay, but also like not what my soul was craving. My soul is craving to create beauty, and I realized that in that cacao ceremony, which was so magical for the first time. I was making music before already, but more like in a club environment. And I always felt a little bit misplaced, like with the drugs and the toxic side of it. The music side, of course, was amazing, but I always felt something wrong. Like, why do we have to intoxicate ourselves, to celebrate each other and, life? And so that was always weird. But there was the only place where I could share my passion. So, yeah, I played in clubs. But then I had this cacao ceremony. Everybody was sober, people were praying and chanting and meditating, before they went into the dance. And I
Wow.
was like, wow, this exists. I was crying. I'm like, wow,
Okay.
didn't know that this is possible. And then the music was so amazing, like shamanic down tempo and ethnic music. And I heard all this stuff for the first time,
Mm.
with my heart being super open. And it was like a phoenix moment. And from that moment, I knew that's what I want to do. I
Mm.
want to create this kind of music. And then I started to only make music again. And I was like, fuck it, I quit this job that I had, and I went, like, I left the community, and I was like, I just want to make music now. I don't give a shit. Because
Yeah.
I tried to fulfill other people's expectations. I tried to be someone that I'm not, and it didn't work out so well. It almost killed me.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, from now on, I just If I want to make music, I make music. If I'm tired, I'm sleeping. If I'm hungry, I'm eating. Those are the three rules of my life, you know?
Okay.
And from then, everything shifted completely. I went to Berlin and I was couch surfing, meeting a lot of amazing producers and having beautiful connections. And in general, I owe a lot to Berlin in terms of my spiritual awakening and transformation. There was something really powerful called Lucid, which is kind of like a conscious gathering.
Yeah.
And I was really involved in that tribe. And yeah, that really shifted so much for me. And I'm super grateful. And while that happened, I felt a strong call to go to the jungle for some reason, you know, because the music that I was making, that I was so inspired by, was shamanic downtempo music mostly, like all those sounds that were like inspired by South American culture, like by shamanism, by rituals, and just a really rich culture of, you know, ancient mystical traditions and things like that. And I felt my soul like calling
Mm.
me into the jungle, and I made music that was inspired by that. And yeah, and this is where my path started. So I made a lot of music and very inspired, and that was basically all I did. Like, and I
Mm.
had such a big output because I haven't made music for a while, and my soul was so happy. It felt like breathing again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, finally,
Mm.
I can breathe again, and it felt so good. And yeah, and life supported me. And then step by step, you know, I went on this journey, and then half a year later, I mean, actually, we need to go like if we talk about magic of frequencies and manifestation, then you know, like I could more explain the
Yeah.
magical, metaphysical side of things. I could just
We,
tell a
we, we will
story.
come there. We will come
Exactly. I
there.
could just tell the story, but actually, it's way more magical
Yeah.
than it might sound.
Okay. And now, when you hear the Natural Biohacker podcast, the intro music is also from you since the beginning, and I'm so grateful to yeah to discover your music, to have discovered this music, because it makes a lot to me, like a lot of healing, the healing frequencies, the solfeggio frequencies, and also all the collaborations you did with like Mose, Ayla Schäfer, and yeah, so much. And I'm
Mm.
super grateful to yeah, use this music for me, but also for my clients and for this podcast to yeah, just make a higher frequency.
Mhm.
And let's talk about frequency, because there's a lot more about music and just like turn the radio on or make Spotify on and just listen to it while you wash your dishes and stuff. You can also use music in a very intentional way. So maybe let explain a little bit how you became this magician of music as well. For me, you are.
Mhm.
And yeah, when was the first time you used music for yourself and for healing?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, it's a profound topic in general, like sound and frequency. Sound is the most profound thing in the universe. Like, sound is what creates,
Mm.
and everything is made of sound and frequency. And you can basically bend reality with frequencies if you know how to use it. And it started already in my journey, like when I was a social worker. It was a very challenging time, like emotionally. So I started already creating music for me as a sanctuary,
Yeah.
right? And I already realized what it gives me in a sense of like a place of peace and solace, and you know, like a sanctuary, kind of like an escape, if you will.
Mm.
And I already realized, wow, music is powerful, right? And but then during COVID, I got really deep into exploring like healing frequencies and the power of sound in a context of, yeah, creating harmony, healing, and all the properties that it has if you use it intentionally. And you know, I would say I was always having this gift to weave frequencies together. Even if I made my shamanic tracks, you know, I'm
Mm.
not a musician. Like, I'm not a classical trained musician at all, but I think I'm very sensitive, and I think I have a good feeling for which frequency goes well together in order to create the most beautiful experience. In terms of that, I see myself as an alchemist, you know,
Yeah.
like a sound alchemist. Like I'm
Mm.
saying, I'm weaving magical sound carpets. And so, but I was not really aware of that yet. It was just like an intuitive thing, and everything that I do is pretty intuitive. But now I realize actually what I'm doing is working with frequencies, you know, on
Mm.
all levels. And everything has a frequency, and not just the hertz frequency vibration, you know, like if you talk about sound, the sound that we perceive is like pressure waves. It's like air molecules vibrating, and this goes into our ear, and our brain translates it and all that stuff. So that's the physical aspect. But then there's a metaphysical aspect, and this has to do with feeling, and this gets into the realm of like multidimensionality because intention can be embedded in sound. So sound can be a carrier wave for intention. And there's actually scientific research that is now covering that, which is amazing. John Stuart Reid is one of the leading experts. He developed a cymoscope, which is an instrument where you can see cymatics, so like geometric patterns that fluids or any medium is shaping when sound is going through. But water is the most easiest or
Yeah.
obvious to see, and then you see the geometry in that, and they already see how sound creates shape and how that forms matter, right? So you see already the basic principle of creation through vibration, and everything is created through vibration.
But is there also like another side of the sound? Because we have a lot of mainstream sound as well, yeah,
Mhm.
and maybe you can also use these sounds in a negative way.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there's no like negative or positive way in a sense. It's just like how you want to like your intention, right? You could
Mm.
say, yeah, there are people who have like certain intentions or agendas, and if you listen to the mainstream music, if you're very sensitive, then you feel that it's a very specific frequency, and it's a frequency that is very low and dense in a sense. It's all about the ego. It's all about consuming. It's all about yeah, just a very low consciousness in general, and it's perpetuating this idea, and it's telling stories. And so in that sense, you could use it to control people and put people into a trance state without even like them realizing it.
Mm.
And it's very powerful again. And it's like it can like influence you on a subtle level, like subconsciously, all the messages that you get. So it's definitely a tool. You can use it to elevate and free humanity, or you can enslave humanity with it. And I think we're experiencing both. Like we had this dumbing down and numbing down and like really locking us into this super low state of vibration, like this all this pornographic stuff and
Mm.
like consumerism and egoism and fighting and battling and all this separation and ego celebration, all that stuff. And that has been like, yeah, very popular among mainstream music. And
Mm.
also the intention is, first of all, like to make profit, like a lot, but then also to just hypnotize people and leave them in the matrix and in that bubble. So, yeah, in that sense, it's super powerful. And
Mm.
of course, it's used intentionally. But luckily, you can also shift the intention and you can shift the frequency and the tuning, and then you get the whole other end of the spectrum. And all of a sudden, you can liberate humanity and you can activate the highest potential. You can activate the DNA and you can really elevate the spirit. And this is when it becomes a divine expression
Mm.
of the highest order, So then it becomes the most powerful thing
Mm.
in the world.
And for sure, when you combine it also like with cacao and with ceremony, with intention, with good
Hmm.
people,
Hmm. Hmm.
and with smell, so
Hmm.
to get all the senses activated. And
Exactly.
yeah, I really loved it because you also did a kind of cacao ceremony. I think it was my
Yeah,
birthday
it
in the
was your birthday, yeah, cacao
yeah,
ceremony.
in the COVID times, and yeah, we were all on the screens, yeah, but we felt such energy,
Mm.
yeah, such a lot of
Mhm.
magic and nice sounds, and then you make like an ecstatic dance set, and Maiba was singing, and it was yeah for
Mhm.
me and for the people who participated, it was really a nice experience. Yeah, they also told me now, like 3 years later, bah, this birthday with Stefan and Maiba was amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, and this is when you do it live, and we will do it today. We go to a cacao ceremony here on the island
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
Michal, a good friend of mine, and there we will experience that. Yeah,
Yeah,
till everything comes together, also with the energy of the island. And
exactly. Yeah, it's magical. Yeah, it's everything is frequency, not just music,
yeah.
Like we did like rapé at the beginning, like to tune in and ground ourselves and center ourselves. And then there's Agua Florida here, and it all has its own specific frequency and vibration, and this affects us in a certain way, right? And this is all coming from nature here, and this is crafted with a lot of love and intention, and this is all part of the signature of those yeah, objects or gifts or whatever, and it's all like a big symphony all playing together. And so yeah, like it's all um being woven together with a certain intention, and this gets amplified, and music is like a catalyst, but so is cacao and everything. So we can really indulge in frequencies in many ways beyond music, but music is the part that creates the emotional connection, and which is the universal language, because you don't need to understand, but you feel. And this is the mystical thing of music. Like, we could talk about it metaphysically and like from the physics aspect, but the mystery is like how it makes us feel things, right? And how is that so individual, and how we go on such a journey, and how I go on a journey when I create, but then other people go on their journey, and it's a beautiful co-creation. And also, where is it coming from, like where's my I feel guided when I'm creating. So the
Yeah,
question
me
is,
too. Me too.
where is it coming from, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
there's this the beauty and the mystery.
Yeah.
But the intention is clear. Like, we want to express our hearts, and we want to create beauty and alignment and harmony. And with that intention, I think that's important, like, for creating, to have this intention and have this clear compass.
Hmm.
What do you want to express? But then it's
Hmm.
just coming through magically in a natural way.
Yeah, I mean, we can also change a little bit because of the sun. Maybe gets a little.
Yeah, maybe let's change a little
Yeah,
bit.
let's change. We change a little bit so we can both use the energy of the sun,
Yeah, exactly.
or a little bit less.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, and also you talked about the ancient tribes, the natives, and they use music like thousands of years.
Hmm.
Especially come from the tradition from the Shipipos. I worked a lot with the Shipipo tribe,
Hmm.
and for them, music, sound, frequency, but also like visual aspects are really grounding in their culture, and they sing the Icaros. And I had a Shipipo shaman before me, and she sang like Icaros, and I was feeling like she makes some kind of surgery with my body or with my astral body. And it was like a experience I will never forget what music can do.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I totally hear you. I was lucky enough to experience the same thing with the Chipibo Mamitas that Maiwa was working with. They came
Yeah.
to Costa Rica, and we had a
Wow.
beautiful ceremony. And yeah, the Shipibos are master frequency doctors, you could say, right?
Mm,
So they're
mm,
so tuned in. They're so tuned in with the tapestry of life and creation and the structure of the universe, that they see everything in patterns, and they perceive the frequency of each plant and everything, and they receive the songs, and each plant has a specific um, healing property, for specific ailments, or like
mm.
things that are out of alignment. And when they are in front of you, they can see your patterns, and they can see where things are not harmonious or out of alignment, and they know exactly the song, and they create this vibration, which creates a certain geometry,
Mm.
which they learn from the plants, which then balances and
It's
harmonizes your energy field. Yeah, man, it's
it,
wild.
it's crazy when you talk about this, maybe like in the TV now. So most of the people are like, yeah, these two guys, they are crazy. But when you experience this, and also in your music, because we also use your music for our shamanic rituals, for our ceremonies, and I can see how the people are reacting. Sometimes they laugh. Most of the time they are like going to a deep process. Maybe they feel a little bit bad in the stomach, and it's so crazy
Hmm.
what music can do when you do
Hmm.
it in this intentional way.
Yeah,
And yeah, the she peoples, I think they're like kind of masters, and also like learning from the plants and the specific trees, and trees and teacher trees.
hmm,
And I think we are just in the beginning to understand what's happening there.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We are so lucky, that this knowledge and wisdom still exists, and that is becoming more and more shared now, and more people are interested about it,
Mm.
and supporting them. And it's super important to connect with indigenous, and help them to share their message, and to support them, and to make sure that they can keep their land, because there's so much we can learn from them. And at the same time, they can learn from us also, because yeah, we are also in the age of technology, and it's important that we bridge that. But that's also technology. Like the healing methods, it's the highest technology. It's the technology, the divine technology, the technology of consciousness and connection with everything. And yeah, that is also amazing that we can experience that, and yeah, receive healing
Mm.
and wisdom through
Mm.
that. And yeah, that's a very powerful way of working
Mm.
with frequency.
When the people now listen to us, and maybe it's a completely new realm for them, yeah, and then you go to YouTube and you see all this frequency stuff, sacred geometry, and hertz, and 369, 396, and all this stuff.
Hmm.
So, what's maybe like a guidance in the beginning to work with frequencies in a
Hmm.
special way, in an intentional way?
Hmm. So in general, I would say that the first thing is that you set an intention and that you're open to receive healing or whatever you're looking for, like whatever you want to be supported with in your life, and then just see what pops up, because there's a part, like your guides or like your higher self, your soul will guide you to that right video that is coming up, and just like follow your intuition.
Mhm.
And then you can also use it intentionally. So if you have like a specific theme that you're aware of, like maybe it's abundance, or maybe it's heartbreak, or you have issues with your relationship, or you feel ungrounded, the easiest way is to work with the chakras and to see which theme the chakras are kind of representing, and then seeing which frequency helps to resonate this chakra, right? And we could give one example, and there are many different approaches to that, and it's really important to not be dogmatic. And I see that sometimes in the scene that people say, no, no, like this is the right frequency, and that's the only way, and everything else is bullshit, and we have to use this tuning and da da da. And then I feel okay, it gets a bit dogmatic, and that doesn't resonate with me. And I would say, whatever resonates with you, and we are also like individuals, and we have to find out what works for us, but we can also trust our guidance, and so yeah, let's say you want to feel more grounded, you feel disconnected with the earth, and you want to, when you feel not safe and something like that. So I would always start with the roots, and
Mm.
there's like two specific frequencies you can work with, and I really find the solfeggio frequencies to be super powerful, just out of my own experience and out of all the research that has been done and been shared with me, and just affirming
Mm.
that those are some of the most powerful frequencies in the universe. And so you could start with 174 hertz to like really ground deeply into the earth to establish that root connection again. And then you can go to 396, which is the actual root chakra frequency. And just set an intention, for whatever you want to feel. And then just open yourself and, yeah, listen to it with headphones or on speakers. And do it also more than once,
Mm.
because the more the better, actually. And you cannot overdose on frequencies. And
Consistency. Yeah.
exactly. So the thing is, like, because it might help once, right? But then we get back into our other patterns, and then we create disharmony again. Because this is actually what's happening. We get out of alignment, and our patterns are not in the most geometric way that they could be. And those frequencies, they realign ourselves, because the solfeggio frequencies, for example, they are like the matrix of creation. They are part of a fractal pattern that um, describes how energy flows through a toroidal field, and everything is a toroidal field. So basically, you have the code of creation with those frequencies, and that's why they're so powerful. They bring everything into alignment that's out of alignment. But if you've been out of alignment for a while, then listening once might not do it. So you have to like keep doing it, and at the same time, of course, if you believe it's not possible, then it's not possible. Because that's also like, this is how powerful you actually are. You also create the healing effect, right? This is also why different frequencies work for different people depending on their beliefs. So that's a very important thing. Like, the intention of the creator is very powerful, but then you are very powerful as a listener. How much can you allow and of your own power to create the healing? Because what the frequency is doing is offering a vibration, and you can choose to align to it, right? So you can choose to dial your radio, your inner radio, to that frequency, and then match it, and then resonate, and then
Mm.
receive the healing. Yeah.
What also I do all the time is like when I start in my day after I wake up, sometimes I put frequencies like 369 or something, and just leave it like for 1 2 hours,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
try to organize my stuff, make my meditation, maybe a little bit of movement,
Yeah.
the coffee, and I imagine all this frequency it's getting into the water, into the coffee, into my
Everywhere.
body, and
Yeah.
yeah, I love it to start the day like this, because it gives me so much hope also, yeah, and so much grounding, and yeah, and also for the evening, yeah, so that there are also frequencies like mm, to regulate your nervous system like a little bit more down. like to relax and to yeah, to sleep good.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically,
Yeah,
there's a frequency for everything, and
yeah, there's a frequency for
you
everything.
can have it always
Yeah.
on. You know, it will always benefit in a sense, and there, yeah, there can always be more alignment in that sense. And I think it's great that you have that part of your morning routine for me
Yeah.
as well, and I definitely feel the difference
Mm.
if it's not happening. And even like most of the time, even when I listen with headphones, I just listen to healing frequencies, like singing bowls, tuning forks, and
Yeah,
solfeggio frequencies, even like in the city or whatever. Then, especially in the city, it's like so, it's reconnecting you, you know, like with this divine, peaceful, harmonious state of being, you know, with this
mm.
state of harmonic resonance. That's what it's creating. It's because all those frequencies, they are like sacred geometry. They represent the structure of the universe, and the universe is harmonious in nature. And you see that on all levels, on the micro and on the macro level, except the humans, they have free will and they choose to create disharmony and separation. But that doesn't mean that the foundation or structure is actually harmonious. And those
Mm.
frequencies, they help us to create harmonic resonance again, to resonate with the cycles of life and with the intelligence of life. And so yeah, the more you invite them into your life, the more it will benefit you.
Mm.
Like I make healing music, and everybody, like people coming to my door, like when I open the door, like, oh, you look so relaxed. I'm like, yeah, I make healing music, you know. It has an effect on me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you think now when we look a little bit into the future? So, where are we in terms of healing with frequencies? Because I talked to my friend Nadia, and she and we are always like a little bit ahead of the time, you know, like 10 years ago we started like with breath work. Now everyone is doing breath work, yeah, also with frequencies and sound healing. I think now it's a kind of going from yoga to breathwork and now sound healing. Yeah, you can make your yoga teacher, then you can do the breathwork teacher, and now you can make the sound healing teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
So you because you are in these bubbles and you are in this scene also. You talk with a lot of like spirit, really grounded spiritual people and people who are a little bit ahead maybe. What do you think? Where are we going with all this healing?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question, and I'm so excited to talk about it because we are about to have a breakthrough. We are still like at the beginning in terms of how the mainstream is receiving this, but it's getting stronger and stronger, and it will be in a couple of years. Everything will be done with frequency and sound, like light, sound, and vibration in general. Everything in terms of medicine and healing and modality, and we will get to a point where we can get rid of all diseases because we will be able to either like prevented them from happening because we are also in alignment, but also like treat any kind of diseases by just changing in the frequency. And I talk to people like scientists and quantum physicists and people in the medical field, which are yeah very on the leading edge of things. And what they shared with me was making me like super excited and yeah, just trusting for what is to come. And also the next year, like 2024, is some astrologers have shared that this is a pivotal year to anchor this consciousness about frequencies and vibration and even like open it up to the mainstream. So we might see surprising revelations of like people that we didn't expect, like maybe the medical field, like opening up to those kind of things, and maybe
Already happens.
it already happens exactly,
Yeah.
but also like on a bigger scale, and also like you know like so the scientific knowledge is all there, like it can all be explained, and that's a beautiful thing. And anything you can imagine, we can create now. It's just a matter of getting it out there to the people, because like the thing is, it used to be being repressed. It has always been there. There were always people who were talking about it, like Tesla and you know Rife and all those guys. But they always have been suppressed because we were not ready from the consciousness. We were not ready to handle this power, to wield this sword. It's the most powerful thing in the world. You can kill, or you can create life with frequencies. You can destroy and create. So to not repeat Atlantis all over again, we have to rise in consciousness and we have to be really aware of what we're doing. So it goes hand in hand with how awake we are as a collective, and we are awakening big time. There's massive awakenings happening, And I feel we're getting to a point where we won't abuse this power, and where we will use it only for good, to heal the planet, to heal ourselves, and create the most amazing, ecstatic, orgasmic, blissful
Mm.
state of existence. And so, yeah, I'm super excited. And there's gonna be like a multitude of modalities happening. But yeah, sound healing is definitely one of them, like with the ancient instruments, but then also just frequencies in general, and devices that create electromagnetic fields, and working with light and all this stuff, in order to create elevated states of consciousness, and yeah, just change the frequency of diseases, and yeah, we will get rid of diseases entirely, I feel, and frequencies and vibrations will
Oh,
be
then
a
we
big
have no
part of
work
that.
anymore.
We will have a different work, like
Different.
that's the thing. Our work is to enjoy life,
Yeah.
and to
Oh,
to to
true.
make this a really beautiful planet. You could see, I
Mm.
mean, the planet is beautiful, but let's say you can see this as a canvas, and it's pretty gray still at the moment if you look at it, and we can paint it like in whatever colors we
Mm.
want, like all the cultures, like everything is coming together. And I also feel that we will manifest some sort of bridge that will get us out of this idea of survival, and needing money to work or something like this, because this is still like the last um, chain that holds people back from actually doing what they love. Like they need a job to sustain their family, and like so they're doing things that they don't love necessarily, and maybe they're afraid to lose his security. So this
Mm.
is still like the last thing of the matrix that is holding us back. But I think there are already things coming. There's lots of models and different ideas that are being tried out right now, and that are being pioneered. And I also believe there's this grassroots movement that is happening. So there will be certain people and communities that will live a different way first, and then it will spread
Yeah.
step by step, because not everybody's ready yet. It's very radical. Like if you look at the collective, the way that some people want to live or are already living right now, that is pretty far out to many other peoples who still have to work through a lot of their traumas and patterns. And yeah, and not even everybody wants it. So that's the thing. Like we cannot
Yeah.
say who's going to be for everybody, but I can say what I see in my reality, and it's amazing, and I'm so excited for it. And yeah, it's going to be huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm. Thank you for this view into the future.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I can really feel it also
Mhm.
through your music and to this life we live. I mean,
Exactly.
look at this.
Hmm.
It's amazing. It's
Hmm.
an amazing planet, and yeah,
Exactly.
and I wish also for a lot of people. Yeah, we also work a lot with entrepreneurs and with self-employed and people who have multi businesses, and I see like stress is rising more and more and more.
Hmm.
And we met like a few days before, and you said such a nice thing. You said, "Look what I created for myself, and I didn't work so much."
Yeah, I didn't hustle.
Yeah, you didn't hustle. So maybe let's go really quick into this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
we can go beyond the hustle. Yeah, we also had a podcast for a short time. Me and my friend Alex, you also did the music for it,
Hmm.
Beyond Hustle podcast.
Yeah.
And this is a really important topic for me because I'm also like having this pattern to hustle a
Hmm.
little bit,
Hmm.
and to yeah, a little bit gets a little bit more and more
Hmm.
and more, and then
Hmm.
I'm stressed out. My nervous system is dysregulated,
Yeah.
and I have bad thoughts and all the stuff which is coming, body issues and so on. How we can get out of that? So what we need to think, what we how work needs to be done in the future, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah. So basically, it all boils down to our belief systems and our programming,
Mm.
right? So the only thing, and that's what happened to me also, and I had the time then when I went out of the matrix and into the freedom. Then I spent a lot of time investigating and working on my beliefs, and I think that's essential because the programming is so deep. But that's the only way. We have to realize that we create our own reality. That the reality that we experience is not happening to us, but it's a holographic representation of who we think we are and what we believe about ourselves and life. So basically, we can create anything, and also we have everything within ourselves. Everything that we experience happening to us is within us, within our consciousness. And as creator beings, there's no limitation, right? But we impose a lot of limitations with our society and the way that we were living in separation and fear based and in the survival mode. And so, and the mind is pretty involved in this whole thing about worrying all the time and planning and all those stuff. But the new paradigm that we're entering in is letting the energies work for us and going from the inside out. And that is the radical shift. Not thinking you need to make something happen here in order to get something, but make it happen here. Realize you have everything inside and then open up to receive it. You know, and that is the most challenging thing for many people. And so paradox because it's the antithesis of no pain, no gain. You have to work hard. Da, da, da. You know, like actually, the more you let go and the more you open and the more you release, the more will come to you effortlessly. But it's a journey to get there. But once you get to that understanding by trying it out, actually, you know, and seeing what happens if you stop hustling and seeing what comes to you like effortlessly with synchronicity. Because the thing is, you know, the mind thinks it's running the show, but actually it cannot because it cannot see the mountain view. Like it can only see what's right in front of it, and it's all based on the past, and it's all based on control and you know like fear-based negative experiences. So the mind wants to kind of control everything, but there's another part of ourselves, or you could call it our higher self, our soul, whatever you want to call it, that has the big picture, and that's constantly sending signals and is guiding us. And it's coming through intuition and it's coming through synchronicity. And if you let life happen, if you're like in a flow state and in the present moment, then you know you can experience miracles and things that are falling into alignment almost like effortlessly, and you get where you want to be way quicker than by working on it. So the whole idea of work, we need to get rid of that because it seems like
Yes.
we need to effort for something. Well, we don't have to. We just have to allow and we have to realize. But it's inner work. The inner work is needed. You have to always ask yourself, what do I have to believe about myself and the world in order to create this, what's right in front of me? And then see this belief, for example, no pain, no gain, or like I'm not worth to have a beautiful life, or like I'm in a state of lack, you know, and then shift those beliefs and realize that you're creating everything, and this is also taking your power back. Don't give anybody the fault, not your partner, not your boss or politicians or whatever we come up with blaming for our misery. It's all about taking responsibility, owning your frequency, and creating from the inside out. And we have never been in a better time because the energies are so high right now. So manifestation happens so quickly. And this is also crucial because if you're not aware that you're creating your reality, you're going to create hell for yourself. So, and this is what's happening on some levels already, you know, and people, they think what's happening and they don't understand that they are creating it. So it's time to go within, take a deep breath, and realize, first of all, that everything happens here in the present moment. And this is the place of power. And from here, you can create. And from here, you can create a different vibrational state. And then again, the healing frequencies are super helpful because, you know, your vibrational state of being determines how you will manifest the next moments, the future, quote unquote, which doesn't really exist. So, by managing your vibrations, by being in a state of trust and peace and allowance and acceptance, um, you will exactly get that. You will only get, you know, what you are vibrationally. So that's the key. But that's also the struggle because it is work. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's unprogramming, it's unlearning. And there's many tools like breath work, yoga, medicine ceremonies, all kinds of things. You have to do the work if you want to free yourself. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have right now everything you need in order to create the life you dream of. And once you get on this path and once you let you know like your energies serve you instead of working to create energy, life is like a dream. Like every day gets more and more amazing. Of course there are challenges, but those challenges just break you free from your limitations and create more awesomeness, right? So, and once you understand the fundamental principle, then you take responsibility as a creator, and then it
That's
gets
the
fun.
point.
Then it gets fun.
Yeah. So it's the shift from the outer work to the inner work. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's hard because a lot of people don't want to do that because, yeah, it shows them that they are responsible for that life they just created.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it needs a radical honesty as well.
Totally. Yeah.
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 And it needs a commitment, and it
hmm
needs, I think, also it needs community. Yeah, it needs community for this, like surroundings. Like I think maybe it's a little bit easier over here depends. Yeah,
I mean, it depends. Like,
yeah,
what will how to define easy? You know, like I mean, the processes we go through here, they are like
yeah.
intense. You
Yeah, and
know,
you're
like
just here for some 2 weeks or
eh,
1 week.
1 week. Yeah,
1 week, wow. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Like I got my ego beat up so many times already, but also my heart expanded so many times.
yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
it is work and it stays work, but it's so much worth it.
What you consider your role in the future, like with your music? We also talked about you shifting now to show more people like how they can create such soundscapes by themselves.
Hmm.
So, what are your steps now to co-create for humanity?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I realize that it's beautiful, to create things for other people to receive, but it's even more powerful to teach them.
Mm.
Like give a person a fish and you feed them for 1 day and learn them how to fish, and they will be like happy until the rest of their lives, right? So the idea is I want to go out into different places and teach in person with other amazing sound alchemists how to create healing music. And the idea behind it is, I went super deep into it and I have a lot to share. And there's a lot of people who are like hungry for this kind of information because they feel the effect, and they want to be part of it. They want to contribute to the change. They feel exactly. We are all here. Everybody of us is here to contribute in our own unique way. And then if you want to ask us, what are we creating? More beauty, more love, And music and frequency is one beautiful part of it. So I want to share with as many people as possible at the same time, like not like super huge groups, because it has to be still like a container that I can hold space for and handle. So,
Mm.
but it will have a ripple effect. So I think, like the more people that work with sound consciously, it's so powerful. Like it affects everything. The communities that you're saying, if
Yeah.
the music is changing in the places of the communities, it's affecting everything. And especially if people come together, they create this super strong field, and that resonates. And I think this is like the virus, the frequency virus that will spread love and create beauty everywhere, because yeah, it affects us on a holistic level. And I'm super excited, to share that. And then I'm invited into different places in Europe,
Mm.
like Poland, Austria, Germany,
Mm.
to create workshops where people can learn how to work with frequencies in a healing modality, and how to use the computer as a sound healing tool, which is my which is my specialty. Like coming back to the technology, we are in the age of Aquarius, and
I, s-
technology is a big
I
part
see
of it.
I see a lot of digital nomads shifting in the future.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
from building funnels and websites to building soundscapes for healing.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You can manifest with them. And especially if you work with 3, 6, and 9, which are amplification codes. So manifestation, Tesla knew about it. That's why he was so obsessed, and why he is passing on this obsession to people like me.
Mm.
Yeah, you can work with that in the context of manifestation. And so it's a beautiful thing about this is you receive and you give at the same time. And it's like such a amplification, like what you put in, the thing that you get out of it, like the
Yeah.
people that you impact. Man, it's so amazing. So basically you can create a way where everybody is thriving, right?
Mm. Sounds like coaching as well. Because
Definitely,
for
yeah,
us, coaching is also like a kind of a craft, a kind of a art, and also we use this different healing modalities like sound and cacao and talking and feeling
yeah. Hmm.
and plant medicine as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, it sounds for me like coaching.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. No, it's totally part of it. It's a holistic thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a way of life,
Mm.
basically.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's everything. It's all part of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk a little bit like I don't know how long we can talk, and it's getting hot, and we get a sunburn for you guys.
You wanna change again?
All good, all good. Let's talk a little bit about your music as well. Yeah, you said terms of frequency music, shamanic downtempo. Maybe for the people who are listening to us, who are seeing us, it's completely new.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what kind of music is it? What you do? You're also doing like live sets and like cooperations with a lot of musicians.
Hmm.
So, what is your like unique way of presenting this music?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, nature is the greatest inspiration
Mm.
for my music. So I want it to be a representation of the frequencies of nature, and this of course requires me to be in beautiful places like this. So I always feel like I'm soaking up the frequencies by being in a place like this, and then I invite the spirits of the place to co-create with me. So I just, I play around, and it seems like pretty like without any agenda, but I'm guided to take certain sound, and then I'm just like intuitively take another sound, but I feel like I'm guided and I'm working with the spirits of the place, and bringing through the beauty and the message that the place has. Like Koh Phangan is like, I feel the super strong, the heart chakra energy here, but also the third eye. So, like those kind of energies are always part of the co-creation. And then I want to make it to sound as organic as possible. So I try to really weave in a lot of organic elements so that you really feel immersed in the journey, but you feel like you are part of nature in that process. And at the same time, if you talk about shamanic down tempo, it also has to be danceable, right? So for the dance floor, there are certain rules that you have to follow. And down tempo is like techno or house, it's just slower, right? It's just slowed down, but it's the same principle. You have a kick, you have a clap, you have a beat, and a bass line, and da. But then, this is the like the foundation for the dance aspect. But then you put all the magic in with the nature sounds and the organic sounds and the beauty. And so, yeah, that's a process. It's always to celebrate the beauty and magic of nature, basically, and to remind ourselves that we are nature and that we are not separate. And it's always so beautiful to see the birds chiming in when we play outside, and everything is reacting, everything is listening. It's a co-creation, like even right now we're co-creating with this beautiful place. And yeah, that's what I try to do, like to co-create with nature and express the beauty and remind us of the beauty.
I love that. And especially like to slow down. Yeah.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, he said always like slow down to speed up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
totally.
we can speed up the inner processes with slowing down. And I remember
Yeah, I
another
love that.
guy, is a DJ from the east of Germany, and it was like 10 more no more 15 years 16 years ago maybe, where I was like in the techno scene of East Germany, like having a lot of drugs, a lot of ecstasy, a lot of core and schranz and stuff. And he was like a minimal DJ, and we talked, and he said, Robin, the sound will be slower in the future. Trust me. I was like,
Mhm.
no, come on, it goes more fast, more fast. And yeah, I think a lot about this quick conversation, because now it gets slower, also with the breath. Yeah, if you slow down the breath, you are so able to experience all of this beauty of the planet, of your body, what goes on inside your nervous system. And I think it's to get slower. It's nice. Also with your music, it's like this.
Yeah, that gives you space to breathe and to feel deeper
Yeah,
into it, like you're not rushed so much.
yeah, and also combining it with the breath, like
Hmm.
to breathe in a rhythm. Yeah, and I love to use your music also like for my breath works, and yeah,
Amazing.
amazing. Where you and the people can know more about your music or find maybe some examples and
Yeah, so my artist name is Steffen Key, and you can find my music on Spotify and much more on SoundCloud, because Spotify is very limited in terms of the length, and I do like a lot of longer stuff as well, like sound journeys and meditations and stuff, and you can find all that on SoundCloud, Steffen Kirchhoff. And I also have a YouTube channel called Sonic Sorcery. Maybe we can link that in your
yeah, for
description
sure.
if you want to learn about, like music, medicine music production, sound healing music production. And I also teach, and I also offer starter kits, so to say, like loops and sample packs and Ableton templates. That's the software that I'm using for people to create sound journeys. And actually, the next launch, probably in February, will be like a beginner um, kit for sound journeys for Ableton. So
Mm.
that is something, if people are interested, that will come out soon, that they can look out for. But they can already check my YouTube channel. And also, I need to mention it. I'm not together with my partner anymore, but we've been together for 6 years on a beautiful journey, and we have a project that's called Aluna. And you can listen to that as well. Maiwa has a beautiful voice, and she's channeling the medicine of the plants into Icaros that we were talking about.
Yeah,
She worked with the
amazing.
Shipibos. So
Mm.
I really suggest you also check that out. Aluna, Steffen Key and Maiwa together. Also her music, Maiwa. very beautiful frequency, very in alignment with what I'm doing. So yeah, those are the
Yeah,
sources.
yeah, wow, wow, wow. I love it. I think your music, I hear you there, like every day, like the frequencies, and also use it to like getting in a productive state sometimes, and it's all about intention. I think I also
Exactly.
can use it for sleeping and for meditating, for everything. So
Yeah,
this is a big point and big insight also in this conversation, like to use music intentionally, yeah, and everything. Use everything intentionally, your
totally.
breath and your
Hmm.
the thing you drink and you eat,
Yeah,
and there the frequency begins.
totally.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Intention and gratitude.
Mm.
Gratitude is the key to a life full of abundance, like as you said, like if you are in the present moment, if you connect with your breath, and if you're grateful for, let's say, your food, like me and my new partner, we have this ritual where we, before we start the food, like we not just bless the food, but we express our gratitude for what we are grateful for in that moment and what has happened, and just acknowledging and honoring all the magic and all the beauty that's already there, all the things we might take for granted, like our partner, or just honoring that and expressing that gratitude that really nurtures this frequency of a state of abundance, because like you're instantly elevating your frequency. Gratitude is a very high frequency, and it's coming from the acknowledgement that you already have everything that you will ever need in that moment, and it will just create more of that. So gratitude is a really like powerful
Mm.
frequency key in order to create more abundance, and yeah, and remember that you already have it
Mm.
here and now, for sure.
Okay. Okay, is there like a last word, a last intention you want to send out there to the people before we close up?
Mhm. Yeah, it's just the realization that you are the creator of your reality, and that you right now have everything that you will ever need in order to create the life that you want or desire. And it's about opening up to receiving, and self-love is also a big one. So that's the thing. Like once you go on this journey in a discovery, like self-love will be the biggest theme in that sense, and that is something to focus on.
Oh.
The deeper you get into self-love and realize all the lies you've been telling to yourself and everybody else is telling to themselves, everybody goes through self-love issues. It's the biggest, it's like the end boss, you could say, in the
I'm not
spiritual
enough.
game. Exactly. I'm not enough, I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough, blah blah blah. Who am I? I'm also still working with it. I'm getting better at it, but I think I could love myself more. But anyway, I realize the more
There it
I
is.
accept I accept that I'm good the way I am and I'm enough, and the more life is bringing that to me. So that is also a big one, self-love. And yeah, just realizing that you have everything inside. You are the creator of your reality based on your vibrational state, based on the frequencies that you are sending out. And yeah, I wish all of you that you get inspired by what we were sharing, and that you start to look within instead of finding reasons without, and shift your frequency to your highest timeline. And yeah, that you find support on that journey through music or friends or whatever you're guided to connect with.
Thank you for sharing all these insights and all this wisdom, ancient wisdom, frequency wisdom. And yeah, if you like the talk, also like yeah, you can give us a feedback at Spotify. You can give this Natural Biohacker podcast star review as well. And yeah, let's take like 3 breaths. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just to close up, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can participate, and we can feel a little bit because there's no time, there's no space, so we feel everything in the present moment right now. So close
Oh.
your eyes. The last one all together. The Koh Phangan breath.
Yes, amazing. I
Thank
love
you
it.
guys. Love you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Woo.